How long gone? It's Thanksgiving week. Jason is upstate looking at leaves as he should be. How's it going? Are you feeling in the Thanksgiving spirit thanks to your surroundings?
A little bit. There's a large owl that is perching outside my front door.
Mm-hmm.
We're not friends yet, but we're getting there. He'll move his head.
Do you think that?
So I don't think it's fake.
Do you think this is a sign from Drake about his new lawsuit that he's kind of trying to intimidate you? Is that possible?
Yeah, this owl keeps going, woo, UMG, woo, UMG.
UMG owe me money. Yeah, Drake. I didn't think Drake could. I mean, obviously he lost. Kendrick Lamar's taking a victory lap with his boring album, but suing UMG, because first of all, I'm sure they did it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they did do whatever within reason what he is claiming. That's what major labels do.
You're sure that Kendrick Lamar paid to have some extra juice the same way Drake has paid to have extra juice, the same way everyone has
everybody,
paid to have extra juice?
Yes, exactly. This is bipartisan as far as extra juice goes.
It affects all of us positively and
really
negatively.
Does.
He's opening up a can of worms that may or may not be great for the whole everything vibe.
Yeah, like I don't think it, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, you got to just take the L and let it go. And I don't really know how else to handle it, because this is the only thing that could have made him look worse, is getting the feds involved. That's unfortunately narc behavior.
Yeah, I would say Drake famously not great at taking the L and moving along.
Of course, but he doesn't need money, obviously. So this is more of like it makes it even more weird.
Man, Drake's a weird guy. I get it. So yeah, people are so basically he's saying he's suing them, UMG, for potentially juicing the numbers on that song, and he thinks that it should not have been as big of a hit as it was.
And look, me too. I don't think so either. but you know,
echoing Chris Black's remarks,
I can't help it, bro.
Previously, everyone is saying that he's now going up against Universal Music Group, and then this is potentially going to be the whatever makes the dam break and the whole system come crashing down, for better or for worse. I think that we're moving more and more towards a society that no longer requires major labels and record contracts.
Speak for yourself, bro. Speak for yourself, but sure.
I'm sure you were listening to the Shane Gillis podcast, I think, where they were talking about the conspiracy theory that Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson and all these musicians who once they hit a certain age and they're not able to really produce the way they were producing before, the industry will kind of put them out to pasture, because then they're able to cash in on the life insurance plan that they set up for them 30 years prior, and then their music sales and their estate and the museums and the shows and the online ceramics, Beatles merch, and everything is able to just start printing money without having to,
unfortunately, I
check
think
in with those people that were alive before.
That is extremely conspiracy. That's an extreme conspiracy theory that the record labels kill a legacy artist when they're no longer producing. Like it's a cow.
Yeah.
And that is... I don't believe that for 1 second. I also don't think that record labels get life insurance policies on their artists. I don't know if that's legal. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not a lawyer.
that part I had not heard before either. But you also famously say the best thing that a musician can do for their career is die.
I do agree with that. I do agree. I do agree with that. And maybe some of these record label bigwigs agree with me, and they take matters into their own hands and kind of put Michael Jackson in the back of his Bentley and close the garage door and turn it on. I don't know.
Well, they all, it's all connected to the doctors and the guy that was been trying to kill Kanye forever, and then the same security guard,
of course,
was Michael Jackson's security guard, and this and that, and it's they have these.
I
know that it's a crazy conspiracy, but there's a lot there to chew on.
I think there's bad stuff. I think there's a lot of bad stuff going on. Don't get me wrong.
I guess the overarching point is Drake is playing with fire, and he only has a Canadian extinguisher going up against the flames of Universal Music Group. I just don't want something to happen to this owl
I don't
up
either.
in the woods.
I
You know
don't.
what I mean?
I don't either. And once this Trump imposes these 25% tariffs on Canada, it's going to really take a hit to his business. I don't know if Dream Crew is going to be able to produce merch for poor things anymore if this happens. So there's something to think about.
Yeah.
I'm
I walked past the OVO October's very own store in New York just a couple of days ago, and they said, me think me gwan have to close the shop.
That's a beautiful store, great space. Honestly, that's such an amazing. It's such an amazing location to have. It's kind of mind blowing. That's like such a nice building. You know what I mean? It's a prime time Bowery.
Such a nice building to have a bunch of purple hoodies collect dust on the racks. When's the last time you saw people buying stuff at OVO?
Bro, I went to
And not at the Grove.
no, I went to the OVO store in Toronto at the mall.
Well, Toronto don't count.
And it was lit, like it was wall to wall. I was like impressed, honestly. But New York, I don't know. I mean, I do walk by there all the time. I can't really see in from the ground floor, and I'm not personally
tall enough.
going to peruse the racks myself. No shade, of course. I just don't need any hoodies right now. I'm kind of maxed out on hoodies.
I'm sure the Dream Crew has lots of great hoodies for different movies that you can check out.
Hella hoodies everywhere. What is okay? So are you enjoying your kind of guy who lives in Brooklyn Heights and takes the car out upstate for the weekend lifestyle right now?
I mean, that's literally we got our Turo in Brooklyn, so that is pretty much the life I'm living. Yeah, I mean, Innes is very nice, but that's the problem with all these places. Like the place, the Grand Cayman Island spot that has where all the influencer hosts
You
take
mean
a selfie in the big bathroom.
Where the business is confusing because no one I know has ever paid to go, but it seems to be a functioning business.
The business is confusing.
Doesn't
I
add
just think
up.
the business is confusing.
Something doesn't add up.
Look,
Something
it's
doesn't
a
add
marketing
up.
expense. We're working on getting some more traffic over there, but that same kind of vibe where you're like, a restful, tranquil weekend getaway. It's just me. I'm a man of the woods. I'm going Bon Iver mode. I'm gonna, forage local honey and journal and smoke a pipe and have some apple cider and Japanese whiskey or whatever. And then you go into the restaurant and it's 11 fucking couples that look just like you wearing Solomon shoes and a Paloma wool tote. And they're all like, oh, there's Jason from How Long Gone.
Oh, have people spotted you at Ennis? Have people approached you?
Nobody's approached me.
No, that's good. I mean, that is unfortunately our market to some extent, but I'm glad that you were able to get the Volvo XC90 from Turo and drive up there in your cozy Fair Isle sweater and your beanie. And yes, you are going to be encountered with guys in Solomon XT6s as well as Paloma wool tote bags. And that is almost anywhere it's anywhere you go now. There's no escape from these people. And we are those people to some extent. So there's no escape from us. But I like to think we're better than that.
Yeah, I guess this is, I know that you and I are both, anti Airbnb and we avoid it whenever we can, but this was one of those rare instances where it would come in handy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Ennis is very nice. I really like it. And the Henson was really nice. I really like it. I think if you stay for more than like 2 days, it's like nice to cook and have a fire or whatever people do.
Oh, yeah.
But nothing's more boring. But I'm praying for you. But you did hit the house last night, Stissing House, and you liked it.
Yeah, Stissing House was great. Just a scant.
How about those chips? How about those potato chips?
A nice little
Chief?
hour and 15-minute drive over to dinner.
It took you an hour.
Well, it was going to be an hour, but then we had to cross the bridge, and then there was a bottleneck.
I thought you said it was like a half hour because I drove an hour too, but I thought you said it was closer.
It was an hour on the way home, and I was going 80 the whole way, so we got there in like 37 minutes, which is a little dangerous because the roads are pitch black and windy.
Dark as fuck. It's so dark.
I had to wait until Carolyn fell asleep a little bit, and then I went sort of F1 mode. One hand on the brights, and then one hand on the steering wheel.
Damn, bro! I literally just I did the exact same thing.
Sorry, one hand on the brights, the other hand on my Twitter.
I had to
on my phone scrolling.
Of course, I mean, I had to put on Third Eye Blind to stay pumped up. That's how long the drive was. I couldn't listen to a podcast to get that drive done. That's upbeat. That's upbeat music only.
There was you mentioned the potato chips were quite delicious, and we talked about them being a little bit of an artisanal salt and vinegar blend, and that's what happened. But we did not order the chips, but a nice bearded man who I suspect listens to the podcast sent them over, it was giving a little birdie told me you might like the chips kind of energy, and he plopped
But
them.
he
and they were
he
good.
worked there, or he was
Yeah,
a
he was an
customer?
employee there. Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, say, damn, a guy from the. Imagine sending over some chips from the bar.
I know that these are borderline complimentary, but I just wanted that gentleman over there sent over a jar of olives for you. Enjoy those.
it seems here you go. It's something to take home with you. That sounds okay. That's great.
It was great.
I'm-
But yeah, we had, it's one of those restaurants where just simple food done well, cozy vibe, get some bubbles going, the ham, the cheese. I made them tell me how they make their ham, and I didn't like how the ham was made, but I plan to try to duplicate it at home. It's slow boiled. Isn't that something?
I don't know anything about what you're talking about. Ham is a disgusting holiday food.
So you get your piece of pork, your hog leg,
Got it,
your ham
got it.
leg, and then you brine it. Usually, salt, sugar, spices, etc. For about a week or two, and then they smoke it usually or cook it, roast it or whatever.
Oh, now we're talking. They smoke that shit. Okay.
But they said no smoking. They do a slow boil, and then I'm like, so you poach it, and they go no, slow boil. And I wanted to be a little bit of a prick and ask them what temperature we're exactly talking here, but I don't think they were going to be able to deliver that info to me. But either way, it's a celebration of American ham right now. Italian, European hams. It's all about the prosciutto, prosecco, the Amon Serrano, Iberico. All that shit. And America's just had the thick kind of honey baked ham vibe forever.
I love.
This is a thinly sliced, soft, just melting, so full of flavor. The dried ham on the leg that's like $8,000 a pound. It's good, but it's giving petrified. And this ham is alive in my mouth. Pause.
I've never heard someone talk about ham. So I'm sorry I fell asleep. But thank you for regaling me with the ham tail. I'm glad it just the ham tail does feel very holiday season.
Ham tail.
Holiday season.
But I've noticed that I guess my first takeaway is that Upstate is much gayer than I realized it was going to be,
very
because
gay.
we had been talking about how it's nothing but guys with like Buffalo Bills starter jacket with like some sort of swastika tattoo underneath it, or some sort of vibe like that, methed out, neck tats kind of energy.
that is
a
the
lot
vibe
of Trump
of the people
shit
that
going on.
work everywhere. But the people that live there are rich gay guys.
I didn't think it was going to be so outnumbered in a cool way. There was a restaurant that we almost went to. It was literally called Gay Soup Night. And it was the most Upstate thing. I guess it's just an activation where gay people can enjoy soup.
I
But
had a feeling that's where that was going. If I'm following you,
but I'm like, are the people gay or is the soup gay?
I think both.
What soup isn't gay? The list goes on.
Soup is gay, actually, as a food. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I've never thought about that until now. Anyway, all right. We have.
But lastly, Upstate it's one of those places where, if you're wondering what the vibe is, where you go into the restroom, wherever it is, a hotel, a restaurant, a bar, a bookstore, a library, whatever, every toilet has an instructions.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like a handwritten instruction about how you pull the handle and then you flush it. Like this is a very unique commode.
We do
from
things
the
a little bit
1800s.
differently around here. These pipes are so old that you can't flush anything down. Please, no sanitary napkins.
Yeah, this is one of those toilets. It has a handle, and what you want to do is you turn it, and then it will flush, and then return it back to its initial.
We do things a
where you
little
can
bit
hold
differently
place.
around here. When you hit the bathroom is different, though. It really is. All right, sorry. We have a show in LA, December the 6th at the El Rey Theater. Robbie Hoffman is joining us. We're gonna have some other special guests. Get your tickets. Looking forward to that one. And Jason, we do have a guest today.
We have a guest today who just hopped on, who's not going to talk yet.
Ryan Mack is his name. He's a New York Times journalist and author who covers technology, all the fun stuff that we talk about here. So I can't wait to talk to him for an hour about Elon Musk. I'm sure he's looking forward to it as much as I am.
We're going to talk a lot about Twitter, a subject and a website that we have a lot of thoughts on and a lot of love for.
Fuck Blue Sky, am I right, Ryan?
Blue Sky, baby.
We're not Blueskis on this side. Ryan also is from Orange County,
Oh, baby.
just like me. And his family has a connection with my wife's family.
Are you saying that all Asian people in Orange County know each other? Because
That is exactly what I'm saying. And just like every Asian family I knew growing up in Orange County, he was accepted to a prestigious university, Stanford, and then chose to write about Skrillex and Avicii. So we have a similar path, and
Jesus.
let's give him a jingle and get into it.
Oh,
How's it going? How's it going?
it's great. It's great. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
All right. So are you in LA?
I am, yeah.
Where do
Yeah.
you live? Do you live close to me, Ryan?
I'm like in West Hollywood, or it's like
Mm.
the edge of West Hollywood, so it's near the West Hollywood Target, but not exactly West Hollywood, I guess.
The West Hollywood Target is an interesting landmark to choose. As a West Hollywood resident myself, I'm just that's not something that kind of
The West Hollywood Target is the one location in West Hollywood. If one of Putin's bombs landed on it, I wouldn't have a problem with it. You know what I mean?
I don't think
that Target is a cesspool for negative activity in West Hollywood.
But everyone goes there. It's like it's a watering hole for everyone.
It is.
proud to say I've never stepped foot inside of it.
Wow.
But mainly because of the treacherous parking. I really hate parking garages.
Yeah.
So I try to park on the street as much as
It's a
possible.
ratchet little parking garage.
It is.
And over there, there's no chance of street parking, and the garage is
No chance of street parking. 50% chance you'll come back to your car and there will be feces on your hood, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's an added bonus. That's just an interesting because I feel like my West Hollywood landmarks are basically Erewhon and the Grove
Okay.
are the only two things I think of. And then maybe I guess like the Rose store and like Melrose Place.
Fair. Yeah.
Is West Hollywood?
Not
You know what I
defeating
mean?
the allegations.
Maybe Jones is Jones reopened?
Jones is right. Yeah, Jones is reopened, but the dining room is still closed, I guess, because someone obviously ran their car through it.
So wait, you're saying that I can order it for pickup or delivery, or you're saying I can eat in that?
You can.
But I can eat in the one room or no room.
You can eat in the main room, like the
Okay,
bar.
the
and everything.
overflow. I mean, you don't want to be in the overflow room at Jones.
Yeah, the
anyway,
two
so
exactly. Yeah,
They can
yeah.
just keep that closed for me. That's fine.
They didn't really explain what happened there. I just
That's because they paid someone to run their car into the restaurant so they could get insurance money.
But was it Jewish lightning or Italian lightning? You know what I mean?
That's a great question. It feels Italian only because they offer pizza and pasta, but I don't know. It's LA.
But also, since it is in West Hollywood, I've never heard of gay lightning. Is that a thing now that we're talking
Gay
about
lightning-
gay people too much? But
Gay Lightning sounds like my favorite roller derby team, but yeah, it could also be a thing that really exists. It could be a thing that really exists.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a WeHo boy just like myself. What do you like about the neighborhood? Are there any Are you a member at High Mat? Like
Hell
how
no.
like are you going to the
Oh, man.
the cursed Whole
hell no.
Foods? No?
No.
What about Crunch?
Not Crunch either. I don't know. It's gonna sound silly, but I moved here on kind of a whim and was looking for like the first place that would like let me move in on a sublet. And so I've been here expecting to be here for like a couple months, and it's been 4 years in the same sublet, and I haven't been kicked out.
Okay.
I have no furniture.
Okay, so life is good. You
Yeah.
landed and that's just what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a Tesla?
I do not have a Tesla. No, I have a Honda Accord.
Honda Accord's a great workhorse. I really like that. Honestly,
Yeah.
I said this on the show recently because I drove my dad's, and he doesn't turn on the radio. He doesn't use anything in the car. He just gets in, turns on, and drives it, and it felt like old, but also somehow smelled new. And the car has almost 300,000 miles on it.
Holy shit.
But it's like it's just like.
The radio still has a plastic film on it. It
Literally,
hasn't been taken off
literally,
yet?
that's the vibe. There's nothing in it. There's never been another person in it. There's never been like food in it. It's just, it's like his zone. And when I drove it, I was like, I felt like I was doing something wrong. Like I felt like I was in someone's like personal space because it was so well maintained.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Hondas last forever.
That was my first car that I ever bought.
Oh yeah.
And I'm currently in Accord, New York right now as well. Damn, power of three.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah, my first car was an '89 Accord, stick shift, 4-door. I drove that thing like a bastard.
What kind of stickers do we have on it?
I had no stickers on it, but my friends would often put joke stickers on it and hide them in corners of the car where I wouldn't be able to see them for a while. And the best one, there was one that was the Green Bay Packers logo, and it said Green Bud Packers.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Sure.
pause because Ryan has a Forbes 100 mug.
Damn, I should have chosen a different mug. but
Ryan
yeah.
is a member of the 100 under 100 list right now.
That's big.
It's
That's
a
big.
very exclusive
I
club.
hope you got a
to see.
raise. I hope you got a raise.
And I had one last sticker. It was the Arm and Hammer logo, and it said "Armed and Hammered,"
Wow.
which was another something that the cops like to see when they pull up behind you.
all
you
of your stickers are very Spencer's gifts.
They were found procured at a local head shop on Beach Boulevard in Huntington Beach.
That's very OC of you. Those are very OC stickers.
It was next to a bar that we called Flames and Games because they had a pool table and it was painted with flames.
That's a good. I mean, that's a good
all we
name.
got.
That's a pretty catchy name. I have to say they could have taken that and ran with it.
Yeah, so Ryan, I want to talk a lot about Twitter, but I was lightly fascinated by your origin story.
Sure.
Jealous that you have a Wikipedia page and we don't. But you and I have a lot of crossover. You have interviewed a lot of DJs that I have known and worked with for a long time, Aoki, Calvin Harris, et cetera. But I saw like 10 years ago you interviewed Riff Raff, and I also
Oh my God.
recorded an interview for my first podcast with Riff Raff, and it was probably the most nightmarish chat I've ever had in my entire life. The whole time he kept demanding that I give him cocaine in exchange for being given the privilege to speak with him.
Sounds about right.
And it was like
Sounds
it was so
reasonable to me if I'm keeping it a stack. I mean, I don't like that's the okay. I guess that's bad.
Is he
I guess
still
that's
around
bad.
these days? I haven't even looked him up. Or is he alive? Yeah.
He's still alive. He's still alive, and I think he quietly made a little bit of money, bought a couple houses and monster trucks in a remote area.
He lives in Florida. And he probably has more money than all three of us combined.
Yeah.
and probably still can get 20 for a walkthrough somewhere.
I wouldn't be surprised if he like is a Bitcoin millionaire or something, or like his.
That's what he's really feeling Bitcoin millionaire. He definitely has a new Hummer.
I would go. We should propose that to Poly Market. Is Riff Raff quietly wealthy? I'll take the
Ooh.
over under on that.
I think he's. I mean, I think that when you buy a quote unquote mansion in a central Florida city that the three of us have never
Yeah.
heard of, you can live quite well. I don't know if rich.
The mansion was 180,000.
Yeah, it's like that, but I'm sure he has a lot of supercars and probably a couple 3-wheel cars. You know what I'm saying? Those I can see.
And they all
that
have
for him.
candy paint, Ryan.
I see
So
that.
you interviewed all of these luminaries yourself, right? Is what Jason is
That's
saying.
how I built my career. Yeah. So I started at Forbes magazine as an intern on something called the Wealth Team.
I've been trying to join the fucking wealth team for my whole damn life. They won't let me in.
But it's hilarious because you're like an intern on like $35,000 a year, and you're tabulating the net worths of like the richest people in the world. And like calling them up and being like, so like, how do you value your yacht? Or like, what is your
Yeah.
Wow.
40,000 bottle Burgundy collection worth? Which is literally a conversation I had with this guy, Jim Clark, who founded Netscape,
Oh shit.
if you remember him.
Shout out to Jim.
So I like that Forbes really does the work, because usually all the celebrity net worth.com
Yeah.
sites are all just sort of speculative numbers.
So that one we had a big problem with because they were always making shit up, or like, and Forbes prided itself on like doing the reporting and making the calls and talking to the art dealers or whatever.
Mhm.
And that's where I started at the company, got my first job, and continued to report on that kind of stuff. But on the side was like looking at this music stuff and be like, this is kind of fun. Like there's these guys making a shit ton of money with these DJs. Like maybe we should apply the same methodology to them. And that's kind of how I got into the Calvin Harris's and the Skrillexes of the world, I guess.
Okay, so you found out how Calvin Harris and Skrillex spend their money, and
Or make their money, yeah.
the Forbes lists though are like the most valuable IP. That's why Forbes still exists, is because those lists
Exactly.
are the dominant. Like
That's
that
their
is
bread. That's their Wordle, is what you're saying.
That's their Wordle. Yeah, that's their Wordle. But were you often, because I feel like some of these super rich guys really try to keep it low.
They
You know
do.
what I mean? They live
Yeah.
they live in Iowa. They don't, it's all pretty quiet. But were they willing to talk to you?
You get all kinds, and I dealt with a lot of the people in Silicon Valley because I was in San Francisco, but there are some folks that don't want to talk at all. And, I think on those calculations, we're probably not as good. Of course, a lot of that is public. If you're running a public company, that has to be
Yeah.
filed with the SEC, and you see their shareholding and everything like that. But other folks are like an open book, and they don't want to see their arrow go down at all, or their ranking drop.
You can say Mark Cuban's name. It's fine.
Mark
It's
Cuban's
fine.
hilarious because he will respond to an email within like 10 minutes of you sending it
Yeah.
on anything.
That's real CEO swag. That's what I'm trying to be like, Ryan. That is what I aspire
The
to be.
busiest people in the world reply the quickest on email, as they all say famously.
It's like three words in like all caps. And so like, but he'll respond.
Very cool.
But there are folks like that just like, oh, like you have my art collection wrong. You forgot this Picasso, or this yacht actually was valued by, whatever, by, some Dutch shipyard by 10 million more. And so you have these like bizarre negotiations with them about, why they should be worth 100 million more on the list.
Oh wow. So they're saying you're close, but if we're gonna do this, let's get it right.
Yeah. With Jim Clark, I remember going back and forth on his like wine collection every year, and like having to call like wine appraisers and that kind of thing.
Because
And
those prices fluctuate, I assume.
they do.
Okay.
They do. Yeah, and you have to like then call like wine experts because I don't know. Like I was like 22 years old and like had no money. I don't know how any of this works.
You probably hadn't even been to the Loire Valley yet, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like one of those bottles is like worth more than my life. So like,
Sure.
it was just a fun exercise, and I built up my reporting Rolodex from those days. And you're just like talking to people about, their money essentially.
I like that when you get to a certain point of money, you understand that you just have to talk about it with the press. That's such an interesting. Like when you get to a certain point, it just cannot be ignored. You cannot be ignored, and people are going to start knocking on your door and ask you what's going on.
Or you have people that talk to the press about your network. We've dealt with so many handlers.
Sure.
I had an editor who would like fly to Saudi Arabia to talk with like Prince Al Walid about his net worth.
Him, the prince
chill.
himself, or did he send some of his consiglieres?
The prince would like receive my boss basically, and like
Pause.
show her around and like show him like his hawks and his like jewelry collection and his planes, and like have this like whole party to receive her. And then one year she wrote a story about basically he controlled the stock holding that was like made up of other stocks. He bought other pieces of companies, but every year, because it had such a low float on the stock exchange, he would artificially inflate it by buying more shares. So he would like blow his net worth up so he could be higher in the Forbes rankings. But
Why
it's like
not? Why not?
crazy
I'm
people
a
like
big
that.
we're
Yeah,
big
yeah.
we're big fans of white collar crime on this podcast. So any stock manipulation, insider trading.
It's just fascinating. I mean, it seems fascinating that there are people out there whose main job and main goal and hobby and passion in life is proving and documenting how wealthy they are in comparison to other people. Like they're so driven by being ranked as one of the most richest people alive that just becomes their whole job, right?
Yeah, aren't we all? I guess I don't know.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's a little bit like once you get to that point, there's nothing else. Like you're looking for something to do. I mean, that's why you collect wine, and that's why you have a hawk or whatever.
You could try to be cool.
Yeah, but
Maybe that would work.
when is a billionaire ever been cool? I can't name one.
Never.
Never. It's impossible.
This prince used to put his own face on like Time magazine covers and like Forbes magazine covers. So he'd like make his own covers and then distribute them, which I thought was just so.
Damn, that is cool as hell. I'm gonna do that with Rolling Stone. You know what I mean? Remind me.
That's very Kim
cool.
Jong Un esque, I would say,
That's very cool.
or very Elon esque as well. But he's using AI to make him look like Superman.
Did you learn about any like bizarre things that are very valuable? Like do people have super weird collections that they would bring up to you? Like, oh, I have a vault of coins that are worth XYZ because that's what I'm into, or like trading sports cards, or like, anything that's like a little less obvious than like art, jewelry, and cars.
That's a good question. I don't think I ever dealt with anything super bizarre.
Yeah.
Like typically the threshold was like worth more than $25 million. Anything lower was not worth our time.
I'm
Because on the
with you,
scale
brother.
of
I'm with you,
things,
brother. I'm with you, brother.
So no, like no, I never like encountered like a stamp collection or like a Pokemon card collection or anything
You
like
know, I
that.
just
But,
I meant more like that in it. That is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a billionaire does that is what I'm trying to say. Like that's what they have all the stuff we're talking about. They have the wine cellar and the planes, but they
Sure.
also are like, oh, I'm super into baseball cards and I actually have
Yeah.
$1 million worth of them. But I understand there's certain things that are just below the threshold.
1 million's not moving the needle. I mean, I was hoping for
No,
some
it's not.
type of sword that Jesus had or something like that. That's
Yeah, and
priceless.
I like when people collect like dictator artifacts. You
Yeah.
know, that's a cool way to hide your money.
Got Stalin's toothbrush.
Yeah, it's a very cool way to
Well,
hide your money.
I guess what about Elon Musk? Is he an open book as it pertains to his possessions?
I actually didn't used to do his calculations, but I heard that he actually did engage in the past. With him, I mean, he's kind of a recent billionaire in a way. It's not like he like built his net worth up very
loser,
quickly.
fucking
Yeah,
loser.
I know he's not old money, but back in the day, he was known for being extremely leveraged. He would have a lot of debt because he would just invest in a company and use those shares to then take out more cash and then invest in another venture. So he used to be extremely leveraged to the point where like it was a big concern, like he was building a sort of house of cards kind of deal.
Well, look at him now. He's
Yeah, exactly.
at Mar-a-Lago eating steak. Life is good. It all worked
Damn,
out.
it paid off.
The
yeah.
house is erect.
Yeah, I mean in 2012 when we were like he was like on the radar, but he wasn't by any means where he is now. He's now worth like $320 billion. He'll probably be the world's first trillionaire if it gets to that. But like back in the day, like he was, he also was very interesting because he would argue with the press a lot. Like he depended on the press to tell his story, and like he would argue over the smallest details of like, what he ate for breakfast if it was like reported wrong in a story. But yeah, he would engage.
It
in
was.
that kind of
I
stuff.
want to
Yeah,
clear
yeah.
this up now. It was coconut yogurt. It was not goat's milk. I want to be very, very clear.
Yeah.
Don't let it happen again.
He has a delicate tummy.
Don't let. Yeah, he's got a delicate
Yeah.
stomach. That's. I feel like everyone. I feel like a lot of people in these positions play ball with the media until it like becomes contentious in any way.
Sure.
And then they become not recluses, but they become a little more combative, let's say, with the conversations.
And for him, it's become his whole identity, right? Like he is like part of the reason why he bought Twitter, which we can get into, is he just hated how he was treated in the press. From the very beginning, there was a lot of doubt about Tesla and SpaceX, and he really internalized that to the point where he just hates all mass media, like and reporters,
Because they're mean.
because they're mean.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why I only look at the Daily Caller, just kind of based on what he's taught me. No, I mean, I
Yeah.
understand. I think that that's like if I bought Reddit because people were mean to me on. It's like it's truly insane, but there are people that can do that, and it's
Yeah.
like
Well, and also Elon, he kind of had to do it twice because he got it like a 9% chunk, and then he found out that wasn't enough to really do anything, and then he had to buy the whole thing. Is that what happened, kind of?
Yeah, he was secretly buying up shares in the company. He was worth a lot of money. Tesla was doing pretty well, so he was trying to figure out how to deploy whatever cash he had. He was buying up these shares, and then he didn't disclose actually when you surpass 5%, you have to disclose to the SEC, and he didn't do that, so might have broken the law there.
chill,
Twitter finds
bro.
it-
Damn, chill, Dark. Jesus.
Twitter finds out, they offer him a board seat. He initially agrees, and then, he gets in a fight with the CEO after a couple days and just is like, fuck it. I'm going to buy this whole thing. What is $44 billion to me? I can just, own the whole thing and run it. So,
And the rest is history. So
yeah.
we've talked about Twitter a lot. Where do you think it is at right now? Obviously, you've rode the wave for a while. You're still using Twitter. Is that correct?
I use Twitter to like share stories, I guess. And I
It's
mean,
a simple yes or no, Ryan. You haven't done your blue sky post screenshot, right?
I'm on there. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Threads. I got all
Oh, Threads,
going, but
Blue Sky.
He has
Yeah.
look. I want to make fun of you,
Yeah,
and I'm
please.
sure I will eventually. But for his job, Jason, he also has to list his like Signal number and email address, and
That's
it's
true.
You have to do. It's your job to do this. If you weren't on every platform made available to you, you would be doing your job a disservice.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, that's right.
I agree with that, but I feel like some people would keep all of that, but Twitter is the line that's too far. And I've seen a lot of people, contact me on Signal head ass people who did it's been real post on Twitter, and you haven't. So, kudos to you for sticking.
That is impressive.
I'm a little irritated by those folks. Like, if you're just gonna leave, just leave, kind of thing.
Goddamn right.
But I don't know. I still have it.
Don't come for Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union with like the signature. It's a note from the fucking president. Like she had somebody like put her signature in Photoshop to make that's insane.
Yeah, but it looks like the new Lana Del Rey album in terms of graphic design. Skill and quality.
I mean, I obviously am a Twitter. I will be there until it goes down. It's the best platform. It's only gotten better since Elon bought it, in my opinion. And Blue Sky just feels so like dorky, and Threads flopped. Like it's a known flop.
Yeah.
Like Blue Sky's already surpassed Threads, I believe, correct? I believe recently.
Technically, Threads is claiming like 275 million active users. I don't see that when I use it, but Blue Sky is growing quite a bit now.
I mean, I think Blue Sky is growing in a way that people are, and this happens with social media platforms in general, where people really want the handle.
Yeah.
But and I know that's a metric that gets measured and distributed, but like the usage is what actually matters.
Right.
To me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have your handle on Blue Sky or Threads? Did you save this?
I have Threads, unfortunately, and I'm embarrassed. I have 12,000 followers on Threads.
Oh shit.
Never used it.
But Instagram like tricks you into opening Threads, and it tries to, because it's all connected. But Threads, I hope it never comes to the point where I have to use Threads exclusively, because it just feels like LinkedIn posting about like how you have a good new job.
Sick. But LinkedIn is sick because it's siloed in its own zone and its own people exist. And it's like a whole universe that you can dip in and dip out of, where Threads, like Jason's saying, they're forcing it, they're integrating it into your feed. You click, you
they're tricking
put your
you
thumb
into
on
click.
it by
It's
accident.
trick bait.
Yeah, they're tricking you.
Are you guys on LinkedIn? Are you endorsing people? Are you
I love LinkedIn. I go on it all every day. It's the best. It's arguably the second best social media after Twitter.
Oh shit.
Because of the archetype that exists there, that is somehow self-promotional but also an expert on everything and loves like marketing and that's their personality. And I need to study those people and their natural.
Are you like writing those like broetry, like those like one-liner?
I should get into that. I think that would probably do pretty well for me, but I just can't get it. It's like Facebook. I look at Facebook every day too. It's sick.
Oh, wow.
Well, to me, that's the problem. I like it when the social media platforms were more segregated. Twitter is for this, Instagram is for this, LinkedIn is for. It's all clear and cut and dry. You go to eBay for that. You go to this for that. You go to Craigslist for that. And I worry that Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Threads are all turning into the same sort of boomer posting thing, where it's just a collection of dorky ass slop, And I like the Twitter algorithm keeps all that stuff away and just feeds me what I want, whereas the Facebook algorithm and the LinkedIn algorithm, it does not deliver what I want. It delivers a bunch of bullshit.
What is it that you want on Twitter though? Like, what are you guys seeing on the For You page? I mean, Chris,
funny
you said it was
stuff only. I don't see any politics. I don't see any porn.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at my following tab in
I don't see
almost a
anything
year.
bad.
Oh, shit.
Like I don't understand. Like I don't see anything that's not either funny or informative or just right up my street.
But also you can sort of train it,
yeah.
You like this style of stuff, and I mute or block or whatever, the stuff that I don't want to see, and you're pruning a bush and it actually works, which is cool. But we just want to see funny stuff, cool memes, interesting shit, and I don't need to see beheading videos and bum fights and this time when a woman got hit by a car or what, all that shit that most people see.
Do you guys get Elon posts at all, or have you blocked him and muted him?
I muted Elon a long time ago.
Yeah.
I would never block the owner of my favorite platform.
I'm afraid to
king.
block Twitter itself. I don't want to block or mute the Twitter account because I worry that that's going to trigger something on the back end that's going to fuck up my...
I don't think I see very many Elon posts, to be honest. I don't think I've blocked him or muted him because I don't really do that to any... I don't like... I just don't care. Like, people care too much. Like, it's like, how does this affect you that much? It's meaningless entertainment or a place to gather information. You can't get mad at that. It doesn't make sense to me.
I'm fascinated because, like, for me, because I report on him all the time, obviously I get it nonstop, but other people do as well because, he's the most followed account now. He has more than 200 million followers. He's the most engaged with account because, thousands of people reply to him and like his posts.
And he's very active on Twitter versus, like, I'm sure Rihanna and Dwayne The Rock Johnson are not tweeting 18 times per hour or even 18 times a year.
Yeah.
I'm interested to talk about the Twitter the X merch that they've launched. I'm getting a lot of ads for X mesh hats, all black.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a Black Friday sale as well. It's just if you're in the market for anything. I don't know if that's like journalistic integrity. I don't know if you can do that.
I think I'm good, but
okay, all right, something to think about.
Have they sent you guys one? I know they're sending them to influencers and stuff. And
no,
oh hell no.
You guys don't want you.
When I got a blue check the first time, when I got verified, obviously like years and years ago, I did get a Twitter. I got like a Twitter moleskin and a few other Twitter logo bird, like the ugly ass bird items. And I didn't think that logo could be made worse, but it has been. It has been made worse, and Elon did that.
So you don't like the rebrand?
I really don't like the rebrand. I mean,
like on our show notes for our episode, we still link. I write twitter.com/Ryan Mac. I don't write X. It's just. But I also hate when people talk about it. When people say X, formerly known as Twitter, like that shit's really annoying.
Yeah, like you have to. A lot of journal. I think that's like the standard at a lot of places that you like have to say that.
Yeah, which
like,
is such a nightmare.
I see it all the time still.
I think we stopped doing that. We did it.
You just say X,
but yeah, we just say X now. So.
Yeah. I think people are up
on
it.
So really quick, and then sorry, Chris. Since Elon bought Twitter, changed the name to X, do you think there's ever a chance that they will forget about like the Twitter trademark or some type of limitation will run out, and then the Twitter name can be used again by somebody else, and then somebody could just, like Jack Dorsey, could just start a new Twitter again? Is that possible? Maybe not him because he has a no compete or whatever, but you could just buy Twitter and start a new service like that.
Are you in the market? Yeah, we can do this.
Well, like if everyone is saying like, well, I hate Twitter, I'm leaving to go to Blue Sky.
Yeah.
To me, that's just like, I hate driving a Tesla, I'm going to get a unicycle. It's like, yeah, it's not a Tesla, but it's like, it's fucking stupid. Like, why can't somebody just create a new Twitter-like service, but have it be regular?
I mean, I think that's what they're trying to do with Blue Sky, right?
Yeah, but Blue Sky is so dorky. It's so not regular. I mean, I've never clicked on it.
Do you remember when Twitter started, like in 2006, 2007? Like, it was so dorky. Like, and it kind of evolved from there. But people were.
Anything tech is going to be dorky.
Sure.
Like, it feels more tech led than like Instagram.
Yeah. I just want there to be Blue Sky for cool people that are funny. That's all.
That's what Twitter is.
You should do that.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. That is what Twitter is. Like, Blue Sky is for fucking dorks.
That is what Twitter is, but I feel like, like you said, Elon Musk will probably be the first trillionaire. Time is moving so exponentially quick. In 5 years, God only knows what's going to be happening, and we might need to have a new Twitter. Like Twitter X, as we know it, might implode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or we move beyond text-based social media.
Like podcasting?
Yeah, like podcasting. Exactly. You guys are on the cutting edge. But I don't know. Twitter is like less than 2 decades old at this point. It could evolve from here. Everything right now is looking to like just copy it, essentially, like Threads and Blue Sky. But in a couple of years' time, we could be past this, and we could be laughing about why we try to replicate that moment in time.
That is something I didn't consider.
Can you believe there's a time when we used text-based messaging on social media?
What was the one that was like the picture you took at the same time every day?
Oh, Be Real?
Oh.
Be Real.
Yeah.
God, there's just so many dead bodies in the social media
Yeah.
graveyard that I still can't believe existed. Like
Where you would post a B reel, take a screenshot, and then post that on Twitter.
yeah, it's crazy what we have abandoned and what we choose to hold on to or that sticks around. Like Be Real was a stupid idea, but for 6 months that's all people talked about.
That summer of Be Real was crazy. Yeah.
Did
and
somebody make money on Be Real? Did somebody like
they
cash
didn't
out?
Well, they raised venture capital. I think they got to like a $500 million valuation,
Okay.
and then they recently sold. So I think they made a little money, but it wasn't the generational.
What am I buying Be Real for in 2025 for like user data?
Yeah, exactly. Or the team, basically the engineers.
I see. Okay.
Talent. So
Okay. So what do you think Elon's up to? Like, do you think he's as bad as people think he is? Do you think that the libs should really cancel their Tesla leases, or do you think it's like this he's just having fun?
I view him not as like good or bad, but like more powerful than ever in a way. Like he
Yeah.
before this owned, ran SpaceX, ran Tesla, two multi-billion-dollar companies. SpaceX has billions of dollars worth of contracts with the US government. And now he's in a position where he has the ear of the president, essentially, can influence those contracts. Regulators can pick and choose who he wants to put in these positions of power.
Are you saying that there might be some conflicts of interest going on in the
little
White
bit,
House?
yeah, potentially.
Okay.
Potentially.
All right. Not to put words in your mouth.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money Elon has contributed to Trump?
The final numbers haven't come out, but it was around 200 million last time we checked.
So that's a good chunk of influence that he has purchased, right?
Yeah, that on the scale of whether or not we would count that on the Forbes list, that would be relevant to us.
Very relevant.
Passes
Very
the Forbes
relevant.
test.
Exactly.
The thing is, obviously, this is not good, and we can all agree to some extent. But I guess that, like, if he's using Trump to gain personal wealth, that bothers me a lot less than if he's using Trump to, like, influence policy. But is that all connected?
I think it's all the above. Yeah, they're interrelated.
Yeah.
Like the day after Trump won the election, Tesla went up. Its share price went up by 12-15%.
Yeah.
People betting on this idea that he's going to use his position of power to help his companies, because honestly, who wouldn't in that position?
Totally. No, that's what I mean. I would do the same exact thing. But is there going to be? Is it truly above the law because of how high they are? Like, is it above the law?
I think about this a lot with him and like where he is going to be accountable with the law, and I think he's like blown through any gravitational pull of the law. Like he's going to fight everything if he's in court. There's multiple investigations into him now that he has just kind of ignored. And now at this point, he gets to appoint the people to those federal agencies and regulators, like, the FAA, for example, which oversees SpaceX. He can now cut their funding, or he can pick the administrator who is the head of that agency, and really influence what happens there. And so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of unprecedented where we are.
It's a little it's giving oligarchy a bit.
You said it, not me, but yeah.
That is pretty wild. I mean, all that stuff is like, you kind of understand that, but when somebody says it so plainly, it's like, oh yeah, that's bad. That's going to cause problems.
What do you predict Elon's grand plan is, or like maybe some of the actions or things that he wants to accomplish with the Trump presidency, besides gaining personal wealth and success for the companies that he owns?
I think he'll want to increase SpaceX's influence in government. And I mean, it already is the main way that the U.S. government gets things into space at this point in time.
Ryan, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I know you're not.
Yeah.
I know you're not an expert on this particular part.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do we care about space exploration so much? It's a waste of time and money, and it's meaningless. Why on earth is that such a priority for the U.S. government?
I can answer this question first, and then I'll let Ryan do a real answer. But I think we've moved past wanting to explore and get a cool Hubble photo of Jupiter or Saturn's rings, and more so weapon systems, satellites, surveillance, things like that.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, like for Elon, it's making humans multiplanetary. So if you believe him, there's going to be some kind of catastrophic event that occurs, and humanity's future that leads us to need a place to live
Okay,
elsewhere.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. That's that. I mean, that's fucking third eye, big brain.
Well, he wants to occupy Mars and other planets because Earth does not seem to be going awesomely right now. So it is only a matter of time until
if I had to
Earth is over.
If I had to co-parent with Grimes, I would also move to Mars. that's.
But also, you've got Elon, who is he's the richest man in the world. He has so many psychological issues. You can tell that he's just a really fucked up, twisted guy. He has so many mental and emotional traumas and disorders. I can picture him literally creating an interplanetary world out there. He's occupied Mars, and he blows up Earth, or he destroys Earth, or uses Trump to destroy Earth, and so that people need him, and then he becomes the savior. And that's the only way that he will ever get legitimate recognition.
It's a James Bond plot, isn't it? Isn't that like Moonraker?
Which is not a James Bond plot.
I look, I can't get enough. And it makes people say who. And second good question, because this is who we need to go after next.
Yeah.
Who started Rivian? Because I feel like we gotta watch that closely and see if something similar is birthed.
As in, like, you think that person's gonna get assassinated, or like you're worried about their health?
I'm saying like if we look at the pattern of behavior, these kind of electric car magnates then become these.
Literally in the news today, I just read that Biden's administration pushed through before he was gone to give Rivian $6 billion in grant money so they can build a factory in your state of Georgia, Chris.
That's right. We're creating jobs down south, and that's why. No, I mean, I'm sure Joe Biden's trying to do a lot of stuff before he dies, or gets kicked out of office. But I don't know if I just think Rivian is the new enemy, and I think Tesla. But what do you think? What do you think about all these fucking people that like are getting rid of their Tesla as a statement of protest? Because my stance on this
is... friend of the show, Eric Warheim, I think he just traded in his Model X for a Chevy Silverado.
Well, look,
4x4 pickup truck.
I say buy American. I've always said that. I stand on business when it comes to buy American. That's why I have an all new Suburban.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole thing where we're getting our cars back, or if we don't give it back, we have to put a bumper sticker that says I bought this before Elon. You know what I mean? And I just don't like, where is the line? Because you basically talk to evil rich people all the time, and we all patronize their businesses. We all, you know what I mean? That there's no way to escape this. So why do you think Elon's connection to Trump make him the thing that people want to disconnect from more?
I think totally. Yeah. I mean, it's the reason why those bumper stickers are showing up more than ever. Like I used to never see those things, and they're like, what do they say? Like, I bought this before I knew he was an asshole or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas they used to say, gas, me no need, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, people vote with their feet, and like that's their consumerism is like their one way of showing protests in a way. I think of something like the Washington Post, for example, that had its whole ordeal with the non-endorsement ahead of the election and people canceling their subscriptions. It was like their people's one way of voicing their discontent,
but not canceling their subscriptions to Amazon Prime.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Amazon's way too valuable.
I've seen one person cancel their Amazon Prime and post about it, and I was like, damn, there's one real one out here that really stands on
real
business.
Dedication. Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna start banking at your? Like, you're gonna. All right, I'm gonna use my.
He's gonna start using
now.
his wife's account. He's gonna start using his wife's account, but still.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's just. I guess what my point is that people are so on their high horse about all of these issues, and I don't think that I think that so much of it is performative and doesn't affect the bottom line at all. So it's strictly to feel better about yourself.
Sure, but that's consumerism. Right, like that's how it's always been. But
but it's political now. That's the difference to me. Is that it feels like I'm not going to spend my money at this place. It feels, I guess, because before there was nowhere to post about it, and now there's a place to tell people instead of just doing it.
Yeah, I get. Yeah. And with electric cars now, there's obviously more options. You don't have to stick with the Tesla. Mm-hmm. But what would you propose? Like, you just keep their Teslas, I guess, and have their bumper stickers.
If you like, well, I guess I'm saying if you like a Tesla, keep the Tesla because you like the car and what it
Sure.
does for you and what it does for the environment. I don't think that's all. And that's why I'll never get an electric car until they pry it from my cold dead hands. But
Until they pry it in your cold dead hands.
I'm gassed till I die. I don't want that
Do you
shit.
really have a Suburban?
No.
Are those
I
still
wish.
being made?
That's my dream.
Okay.
Oh, I think the boom in like American-made SUV, like the Tahoe Suburban, they're really expensive and they're really nice
Yeah.
at a certain level. No, I have a BMW.
I used to drive one in high school, and like I was like the designated driver for like 15 people because you could like stuff
Pile a lot of people in there.
thousands of OC kids in
You
that
can-
thing. But
You had a Suburban
I had a Suburban
in high school?
I did, yeah.
Damn, that's sick.
What were you into? What were you into in
Go
high
off.
school? Were you smoking grass and surfing? What was the vibe?
You know, I was going to the beach a lot, but also playing a lot of soccer.
You know what, bro? You look like a motherfucking soccer player. I could see you come. You got soccer hair. That's what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
As well as a beach goer.
You're a
Thanks,
beach. It's written all over you. But what were you doing at the beach? Just chilling with the fellas? Little volleyball?
Chilling, body surfing. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love a
Normal OC stuff.
I love a body surf. Okay. That's honestly, that sounds a lot better than what you're doing now. You know, I mean,
Well,
if I
now,
had to,
since you came out with the book, how many podcasts do you think you've been on?
Oof.
That was what, three months ago, something like that? 2-3 months ago?
20-ish. Yeah.
Wow.
gee whiz.
It's been a lot.
That's a lot.
Some radio hits, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, we're doing radio hits. Okay. What,
Yeah.
K-Rock or are we talking NPR?
Kevin and Bean. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got
But you did some big podcasts. I found out about you from doing Pivot
Yeah, we did Kara Swishers.
with Kara Swisher and
I'm sorry,
friend of the show, Scott
I'm sorry you
Galloway.
had to do that. I'm sorry to hear you went into the gauntlet.
And then
Did you have to go into the studio?
Scott goes, really nice to meet you, Ryan. Anyway,
Yeah, he was a little silent on that one. But no, we did that one at home.
Okay.
We did NPR. We did like Terry Gross and stuff like that, who is very nice and hilarious.
Did you go to
But,
the NPR studio and like do it remote, like you're in LA and she's in Philadelphia?
Yeah, she's in Philly.
Yeah.
You don't see her in person. There's no video or anything like
Wow.
that. It's kind of
horny.
a little disconcerting, but she's, such a pro. And
Yeah,
like
that's cool.
she's actually really funny because we learned that like her one reference point or the person she looks up to is like Howard Stern. So she like often asks like insane questions and like tries to throw you off kilter a little bit.
Oh,
But she's fun.
okay.
Yeah,
We all worship at the altar of Stern, though, in this business.
that's true.
Have you considered doing any podcasting of your own now that you've got enough under your belt?
I haven't. I don't know. What would I talk about? Like, I
Well,
could-
the New York Times owns you, so they would have to develop
Yeah.
it. It would be
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I know that writers don't make any money, so I'm saying you should start doing a podcast about the intersection of whatever you do and other stuff, you know?
talking to rich people and riffraff and
talking to rich
Skrillex,
people
yeah.
and riffraff sounds pretty great to me. As far as as a consumer goes, that's content.
talking to rich people with riffraff.
Yeah, the intersection of riffraff and tech
Yeah.
is where I live.
That's
Yeah.
good. So, do you listen to electronic dance music, or was this just something you were interested in from a anthropological perspective?
I would say more the latter, but I went to a lot of shows for it and was going to Vegas like a lot when those like Hakkasan was opening and all those clubs.
Hell yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
did you party with some of these guys?
In like you're in the DJ booth or whatever, their private table, but like I'm not sure any of these guys would know me by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, so you're at Hakkasan. Calvin Harris is headlining at 1
You're in a
a.m.
Calvin's booth, bitches.
and you're a
Exactly.
booth bitch with the Patron. Are you sipping on Calvin's Patron? I mean, are you?
there's a little sharing the alcohol, but
I think there should be. You have to get in the
Yeah.
zone.
I'm working.
So I want to know, and of course you get to do the great thing where you tell your girlfriend, "Sorry, I got to go to Hakkasan again this weekend." It's for my job at the New York Times. So how many times? I mean, like, did you really need to go to Las Vegas this many times to write about it?
I was going like 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
We did like a couple print stories. We did a lot of videos for Forbes on that.
I can't wait to see you and Steve Aoki on a trampoline on Forbes TikTok.
It was like we actually filmed an interview with Aoki in like Hakkasan, but I remember going to the actual opening of the club itself and like I was such a nerd. It was like I was like 23 and like I brought all my friends and like we stayed in a hotel room and like I snuck everyone in with my pass and like
Yeah.
This is sick.
it was Pharrell's 40th birthday party that night and like Calvin Harris was there and yeah, it was kind of surreal, but a different phase of my career for sure.
And you were just writing about like the boom of electronic music in Las Vegas, or was this like financial research. Like you needed to see what Calvin Harris's helicopter was looking like, or what?
Exactly. Yeah, the boom, and how much these clubs are paying these guys.
Mhm.
We don't like to talk about that because Jason kind of missed his window. So it's he's a little touchy about the payment part, because it
Yeah.
Look, I'm doing fine. There is an absence of zeros where that other people may have. But I still have my integrity.
and that's something you can buy a home with, a car with, and I know I'm with you, bro. I respect it. I respect it.
I put integrity on all of my forms that I fill out. So
Can't put a price on that. Can't put a price.
so you would just hang out with Calvin Harris, and in between him taking his shirt off and making out with a Playboy bunny, you would be like, "Oh, I was wondering what your 401k options are. Like, what exactly did you need to be in the booth for at that moment? You know what I mean?"
It's all about color. You gotta be there to
Yeah.
do the reporting, Jason. You
You gotta
gotta
do the reporting. You have to paint a picture. You have to tell the story for the reader.
Exactly.
Oh wait, hold
You
on
have to
one
tell the
second,
story for
guys.
the reader.
Keep talking.
I get it. You gotta be super descriptive about how he's hitting the Q button on the CDJs.
Exactly. And that's why you got to go 4 or 5 times a year.
I actually
that's-
really like. I've come around on Vegas. Have you been back?
I went back recently, yeah, for a soccer game. I watched a soccer game there at the new stadium, but not to like a club or anything though.
Okay, so you just went for soccer purposes. You went to
Yeah,
dinner
yeah.
a few times. You didn't revisit your old stomping grounds.
No, I didn't go to Hakkasan, unfortunately.
They would still have you. They would still have you, I think.
I think so. Isn't that like scene kind of like dying in a way? Like, or
I
is
think
it?
it's like I think it's just not the biggest thing anymore. I think it still exists because that's what Vegas like operates on. Like I think that's just how it works,
Yeah.
But I don't know if I think it's just the way it captured culture, I think, is over, but I bet it's still as big as it was monetarily.
Yeah, I think like Vegas, we saw this like, it like reinvents itself every like couple years or like every decade. And Vegas, I used to go to with like my family. It used to be like a family place, and like we had our
Yeah.
vacations there. And then it was like the DJs, and like I feel like the DJs are being like phased out in a way.
What do you think would be next though? Because it is such an attraction to a certain kind of
Food.
person. Food, yeah.
Food, it's a sports town now, right? Like they're bringing the Oakland team there. They've got the Raiders, they've got the Golden Knights, they got the Aces.
F1.
F1, yeah, was there this weekend. So it's like and then the Sphere is like its whole different thing that people now travel for.
True. No, that's a good point. I would travel for the Sphere. I would definitely not travel to see Steve Aoki DJ at Hakkasan. So maybe times have changed.
Well, I feel like music is still a big part of Las Vegas, but I think
Yeah.
that style of like in extreme raging electro club music has sort of been phased out for the type of people that are interested in going to Las Vegas, and those people can go to Tulum or Barcelona or Ibiza to hear that style of music. And I feel like people who are going to play like Shabuzi and Luke Bryan remixes
Mm-hmm.
and just like pop, just it'll go back to like Sabrina Carpenter and Jelly Roll bangers.
Yeah, and like celeb appearances who play like 2 songs and like
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
I would rather see that than listen to 3 hours of a DJ. No offense.
You would rather see the Costco make the boom guys and then like
Yeah.
John Bon Jovi DJ set.
Yeah.
That'll sell a lot more.
Rizzler at Hakkasan, yeah.
Rizzler at Hawkins. that'll sell so much more alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll need it.
You'll need
That's
it.
why fucking Shaquille O'Neal DJs more than Skrillex does.
Hey,
now, you know what I
Shaquille's
mean?
kind of sick
Yeah.
with it though. Don't come for Big Shaq like that. He's not bad, bro.
Shaq is not a good DJ.
I didn't say he was
DJ
good.
Diesel is not a good DJ.
I didn't say he was good. I say he's not as bad as maybe some people think he is. And
Okay, that's fair.
I just want to stand on it.
No, I said what's fascinating about Vegas though is that there's still some hotels that are still chasing it. Like there was that club in the Palms, Chaos, that opened that completely like had like a $50 million hit.
Jesus Christ.
Do you remember exactly how chaos was spelled, Ryan?
KAOS.
Oh, okay. So they kept it sort of traditional, not correct, but they didn't go super crazy.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Okay.
But that was a disaster. There's a new hotel that just opened up recently that
I've heard the Fontainebleau has not delivered.
yeah.
I heard they're losing $300K a day.
Yeah.
That's not great. But what I would say to because I think you guys are absolutely right, but also in my mind, an F1 crowd is very much a Hakkasan crowd.
Sure.
Like that, those two things, like the like those two things seem very like on F1 weekend. I'm sure it feels like it could return to kind of the heyday for that weekend because people are there at a party and that's kind of what they like.
You mean like people like wealthy magnates from Morocco flying in? They're the ones who are going to want to hear some proper club music and not DJ Pauly D.
Yeah, it's not Pacha or DC-10, but they'll take it.
Right.
You know, they'll take it. That's what I mean. I would guess, but F1
Let
is also.
Peggy Goo wear some of the. What is the uniform called? The driver's wearing?
Oh, she's wearing the McLaren.
The fire suit.
She's wearing the McLaren Kith collab. Actually,
Get Peggy in the McLaren Kith fire suit. One's off the shoulder. You know, it's a done deal.
But I don't think that anything can last forever. You know, that's what it is. It's got to change, evolve.
Vegas now has those nostalgia fests too, like when we were young, and like emo night will take over.
How much pop punk you listen to, bro?
A little bit.
I bet you got some MXPX on the iPod. You can be honest.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna guess Ryan's. He has a little history with Jimmy Eat World.
Little Jimmy Eat World. Yeah.
Taking Back Sunday.
Taking Back Sunday. Yeah.
Blink 182.
A little bit, yeah.
Everybody's got a little blink. Jason, that's like asking, do you like pizza?
Okay, what is there a lot of then, Ryan? What is there a lot of?
No, it's a lot of Taking Back Sunday.
Let's go. Gonna make damn sure.
A lot of brand new still, even though they're kind of canceled. But,
hey, bro, this is a safe space for that kind of stuff. Don't you worry about that.
That last
they got
album
canceled? What'd they do?
Oh,
he got canceled.
He was messaging underage girls, so not great.
Yeah, it's unheard of in the emo community. It's unheard of. It's kind of was a trailblazer.
Okay. Oh, so he was he's the Matt Gaetz of pop punk.
He's actually the Secretary of Defense now. So
honestly, somebody named Matt Gaetz and spelling it with a Z is a very I'm the singer of a metalcore emo band.
He was in Hawthorne Heights, actually. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Very Hawthorne Heights coded to be named Matt Gaetz with a Z.
That's really funny. So what do you think? So do you think that your life is and work is about to get extremely complicated and just full time because of Elon's rise to power with this Trump election?
He already is. Yeah, we're on it nonstop. I basically report on him solely.
That's so crazy. But I mean, I get it. Yeah, of course. Like there's something happening all the time, but that is so.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not asking you to reveal anything here, but are there people that have been sources that have been with you since the beginning that are still there?
In some company, you get this thing where a lot of, especially sources, like phase in and out. People that talk to you tend to already kind of be disgruntled in some ways, and they don't last for very long. So it's
I see.
And with him, he's in these new spaces now that I don't have sources in, like in the White House. So I have to collaborate with our politics desk or people.
I was gonna ask, do you think the New York Times has any people down there in Washington that could help you out?
A couple.
We were talking on our live show in New York last week, and I was we're about how he was reported that Elon was sort of being a punisher and not leaving Mar-a-Lago, overstaying his welcome, and we were trying to speculate like what exactly he was up in there doing and how what do you have any insight on why and how that was happening?
He does this thing a lot where he views these like situations as existential crises, and he'll like spend all his time in certain places. He did that with Twitter, for example, where after he bought the company, he was like literally living at the office and sleeping in a conference room.
Mm-hmm.
He did this at Tesla in 2018 when they couldn't make enough Model 3s.
Yeah, I remember this.
So he kind of views this as like an existential crisis of like saving the country, right? And so he's going to spend all his time in one place. And I'm sure for folks even at like Mar-a-Lago, it's like very bizarre and strange. They're like, why is he still here at like 5 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because he just believes he needs to get shit done at like every hour of the day.
Interesting.
I believe I need to get shit done every hour of the day too, but I know that that's not possible. I know that I'm not going to do that, so I go home to my bed to sleep in.
Yeah,
that's not as funny as the reasons that we speculated, but that makes the most.
I want to hear
sense.
that. What was the speculation?
Well, I was comparing it to like when you're at a party and the guy who bought all the cocaine gets to decide when the party's over. And I was saying, since Elon used his satellites and $200 million to make Trump win the election, he's sort of like, no, I think I'm going to stay for a while. Might as well. Actually, is this orange juice fresh squeezed?
Yeah,
And,
I'm going to take my shoes.
Can I get the Wi-Fi for the good, the password for the good Wi-Fi?
I'm going to take my shoes off. Well, I can't wait for you. Have you been to Mar-a-Lago yet?
I haven't. I don't think I would be very welcome there at this point in time. But yeah, maybe I'll be on the outside there. Have you guys seen it?
So you're an enemy of the state right now, is what you're saying?
Basically, yeah.
Enema of the state.
I feel like if I changed a few things about myself, I could get the invite pretty quick to Mar-a-Lago. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, if you need a bald man on the inside, Ryan, we've got one right here.
I'm Southern, and I kind of know the language they speak down there, so I could kind of slip into that if I needed to go undercover.
What about like live show at Mar-a-Lago? How long ago?
I don't platform the enemy.
I would do it if I ever thought that the check would ever clear, but he's famous.
Yeah.
Elon and Trump are both kind of famous non-payers.
Yeah, Donald Trump, if he didn't pay the guys that built Trump Tower, he ain't paying how long gone for an hour. That's the truth.
He's definitely not going to pay the guy who did the catering at a rally in 2019.
Yeah, we ain't getting none of that. We ain't seeing $1. But I would like to. I just want to see because Jason and I actually went to the White House like over the summer because a listener worked there and was kind enough to invite us, so we got the full tour. And
shout out to him. I don't want to dox him.
Is that Biden?
Yeah, it was Joe.
Yeah.
He's able to listen at 1.5 speed because he only has so much time left.
Yeah, actually, oddly enough, sorry to interrupt. Looking back, we were there the very day of the big debate that happened in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we were surprised, and that was sort of the one where famously Biden sort of got mopped the floor with.
Short-circuited.
And we were in the White House full of the Biden administration, and everyone was looking at the TVs as if it was a rerun, or as if they already knew that this was all gonna, like, nobody was like, oh fuck, he's blowing it. It was more of just like, oh, the sky's blue again today, great, awesome. Like,
I was more interested in
it's interesting to think back now,
the design of the White House and like the way it was just really interesting because like one section looked like a Prada store. One section's like super traditional. It's all, obviously because it's been every administration changes things, blah blah blah. But I just can't even imagine the ornate and awful choices made at Mar-a-Lago that I need to see with my own eyes. Not even as an expert or even particular lover of interiors. I just feel like it's a real
just to see the tile choice in the guest bath.
It's gonna feel like
something. Look at this lamp, for Christ's sake.
It's gonna feel like something, and that's why I don't want to try the food. I know it's bad. I don't want to drink anything because it might be poison, but I do just want to walk around and kind of smell the carpet and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
That's fair.
That's all. I don't want to build. I don't want to build with anyone.
Ryan, do you ever think, scenario here, Elon is like, you know what? I am a fucking mega douche. I want to sort of change my ways, right my wrongs. Your entire job is sort of following his day-to-day life. You know him more than he knows him, and you're not afraid to speak negatively about him. If he asked you to come on board and be an advisor on the Elon team, how much money would it take? And I need a literal number.
I don't think it would take that much, Jason.
And this is all under the assumption that you believe that he is coming from a pure place, and it's not, he's trying to poison you in Mar-a-Lago, like Chris said.
Yeah, I don't think he'd listen to me, but it'd have to be like Forbes relevant, I guess.
Okay, Forbes relevant. Fair.
25 a year, or 25 for the whole 4 years?
We'll go 25. Yeah, why not 25 a year?
25 a year. Okay.
25 a year. I would do 25 a year, Ryan. I would do almost anything. And don't test me on that. Don't test me on that. My question to you. Okay, all right. I think that's
25 a year. I would hit a guy with a Tesla just to see if the bumpers are working right. You know?
Yeah. I'll do some field
some
testing.
murder. Yeah.
I'll do some murder. Some murder testing.
We're gonna use people that were already on the out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they weren't doing great. They didn't. They had let us know that they were fine with it. Really,
maybe they're child traffickers. This is how we get rid of them.
Damn, we uncovered it all.
We're getting too loco right now.
We got to the bottom of it, Ryan. Thank you so much for your time. And the book. What's the title of the book?
Character Limit.
Character Limit, great name.
What a great title, right?
Character Limit is everywhere you get books now. If you want to hear Ryan talk about it more, you can listen to him with Terry Gross or Pivot. And I'm sorry we wasted your time today, but we really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, Ryan, you listen to the pod, right? This is not a waste of your time.
I do. Yeah, this was great.
That's right, motherfucker.
No, people are gonna. This is great. It was really
sick.
fun to talk to you, and we rarely get people that are actual experts, just people that say they are. So it's nice.
Yeah, I'm glad to do it, and thanks for having me.
And we're here to support bros from the 714 as well as the 949, dude.
949. There we go.
Later.
Represent. All right, Ryan. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
See you at the beach.
See you there.